Hey everyone, got a very exciting update to share here. The Arcane Vanguard class mod in Baldur's Gate 3's mod manager had a major update here, which we'll be breaking down, adding in the new Verdurge subclass here. As well, I want to give a big shout out to Sathos. This mod just passed 1 million downloads yesterday, and this is my favorite class mod in Baldur's Gate 3. If you haven't tried it yet, I highly encourage you to check it out. It's got 8 different subclasses now, and each of them has their own unique feel. The best part about this is it's fully balanced, and Sathos has made a lot of updates over the last year and a bit to fully keep this in check with the base game classes so that there's nothing too overpowered, while still allowing you to use spells like Mistress spells and other modded abilities. Another exciting part to this update is the all-new icons for the subclasses and classes. These were made by Sumer Dagnoth, who you may know for their Barbarian, Fighter, Monk, Ranger, and Cleric subclasses combined. So yeah, these just look amazing. My personal favorite's the Grave Knight, but let me know in the comments which your favorite is. And for a brief breakdown of each of the subclasses here, the Dervish is kind of like a blade dancer. They get some special blade attacks, and there's only 2 that get things like Booming Blade here, the Judgment and the Dervish here. The Eldritch got a recent update as well. That's really cool. If you haven't tried it yet, I highly recommend checking it out. You get different abilities here, like you can summon in the Channeler's Staff, Thaumaturge, Lantern, there's a Gastaphates, and a Carapace here. So you got a lot of different items you can also summon in. The Grave Knight focuses on like acid, necrotic, and poison damage, and it's kind of like a Death Knight. You got a ton of different abilities here. And I guess all of these classes can specialize, they specialize in doing melee, range, and spellcasting. They kind of do all 3. The Hell Knight, Hell Knight, it's like a fire-based attacker, kind of similar to the Grave Knight, but very different in its aspects, but the tone is kind of similar. It's a undead knight with a bunch of different fire spells and abilities. The Ice Quiver, which this is my favorite subclass. I love the Ray of Frost arrow infusement here, so it's great for kiting around. You get some different ice attacks, create or destroy water, and you get frost walk, so whenever you deal cold damage, you don't end up slipping around. The Judgment comes with a bunch of different spells and abilities here, and the big core defining feature here is the infusing elements. So whenever you do cantrips, you then infuse your blade with that elemental damage type. Whereas they're more elemental focused, the Dervish is more blade focused, I guess. The Sentinel here is more of a healer kind of paladin type class with some different support style spells. And the Verdurge, which I'll be breaking down in this video, is the newest subclass here, which natural magics were your field of study, mastering primal druidic magics in your arcane techniques. All Arcane Vanguards get to choose from a pool of spells here, and also cantrips. They also have these fighting styles, and they're all different. Like, some of them will add your intelligence modifier instead of dexterity to your armor class. Some will increase your movement speed or give you empowered arcana. Critical momentum, give you increased critical hit chances. Echoing malice that are really fun. Whenever you do a ranged weapon attack, mark the creature, and the next time you deal damage with a spell or cantrip, you deal 1 to 6 force damage to all enemies nearby your target. Spellmate Grasp can pull creatures towards you on a strength save. Blade Dancer can give you bonus action attacks, which give you the Blade Dancer ready status. And the Ethereal Edge, which will give you finesse weapons, have an increased range to 4.5 meters, which I think is awesome as well. But onto the Verdurge subclass. So what this gets here is a selection of the different druidic spells. So you get things like Create or Destroy Water, obviously being pretty fun. Long Strider, Speak with Animals. And once you hit level 2, you then use your intelligence for your weapon attack and damage rolls, which is really nice. Again, more choice in spells here, and some of the really fun spells like Command that you have access to. And then you also now get to take Vanguard Talents, which gives you a bunch of different abilities like the Arcane Transposition, which will teleport you with an ally. The Arcanist Tether here, which will help you restore health if they're within 3 meters of the marked target. Focus Shatter, you can break your concentration to deal extra damage. This is one of my favorite abilities here. Liberated Spellcasting, it allows you to use reactions to cast cantrips. Combat Acrobat. If you use a spell and a weapon attack in the same turn, you get advantage on dexterity checks against things like Fireball, but also Momentum, giving you an increased movement speed 1.5 meters for the next turn. And the Force of Arcana. You can basically turn on a toggle that will give you increased benefits whenever you're at close range, but your range decreases to 3 meters. And one of the defining features of this, whenever you cast a spell, you're going to get your Empowered Verdant Confluence here, which enemies in the radius are under the effects of difficult terrain. This is based off of our spells that we get from the Verdurge subclass. So things like Armor of Agathis will give you a range of 17 meters and 17 feet and 10 feet if you activate this with a cantrip. Furthermore, in this little aura that we have, if we do a melee attack against a target that is affected by it, they have to do a strength save or else they end up getting ensnared, which is pretty fun. Giving you some options for like kiting and crowd control for your teammates. And upon hitting level 3, we get our Primal Bastion, which allows you to consume the Verdant Confluence to gain 1 temporary health. And while these health points are active, you get advantage on Constitution saving throws, and you are grounded. You can consume the Verdant Confluence instead to gain temporary health points. This uses a bonus action. And the Primal Renewal there, which you can use it to give 1d8 health points to an ally, or you can, again, use that on yourself. We also get some more spells here, with one of my favorites being Spike Growth, very good for creating enemies around. Then we get a Socialite skill here. This basically depends what you want to play. If you're a good aligned character, Persuasion is going to be better. Intimidation more so for like an evil, and Deception if you kind of want to play the middle ground. An underrated spell you do get access to is Pass Without Trace, a plus 10 to stealth checks. If you got someone else that can cast greater invisibility on you, this is a great combination because you can kind of stealth your way through anything. Level 5 is one of the best abilities here. With the Vanguard spell weave, basically like an extra attack for using cantrips and weapon attacks together. Spell weaving, fun. And as we get access to level 3 spells, this gives us counterspell, which you have options to use your reactions for things, and typically I'd always recommend saving it for a counterspell. You never know when that may come in handy. And you also get plant growth, which is nice because it does not require concentration. Upon hitting level 7, you get the Vanguard technique, which lets you use spells instead. So now you can then do a bonus action weapon attack. And one of the best perks to being a Verdurge, Conjure Woodland Being. This is one of the best spells in the base game because it gives you a free summon that gives you a summon that holds your concentration on spike growth. 10 out of 10, would recommend. Also, they did rework Grasping Vine since the game release. It used to be an action, it's now a bonus action. And it's honestly not bad as a little tank as a bonus action. Not too terrible, no concentration. Level 9 gives us the Viridescent Rebuttal here. So upon taking damage while we have our Confluence up, you can consume that to reduce the damage equal to your Intelligence modifier. When you do so, they'll do a Dexterity save or take 1 to 10 piercing damage, and your Confluence becomes centered on that target, and then enemies within that aura will take a 1d6 piercing damage whenever they make an attack roll, which is really nice. Also, if you get up close, you got the Ballast Armor, that can be pretty deadly, or Horn's Dagger. Late game can be pretty strong, so it has some nice scaling. Also, if you ever fell into a rose bush in your youth, like I have, you'll know that piercing damage is pretty painful. We also get the Viridescent Requital here. Whenever you get the Primal Bastion healing removed off yourself, it's going to heal your nearby allies for a 1d6. And good balance decision here on Satho's behalf, not putting Conjure Elementals. Getting the Woodland Being is amazing, but that would have pushed this over the edge into being a bit overpowered. Nonetheless, I like Insect Plague, pretty decent spell for crowd control. Another Vanguard talent that you can take as we level up at level 10, you get another choice. Spell Throwing, which lets you use your melee spells at a range of 4.5 meters. Level 11 gives you Tactical Strikes. Once per turn, you get an additional 1d4 of weapon damage. That's honestly really nice and balanced too. I also love that they include Wall of Ice in here. This is a spell that's like, not amazing, but I love using it. Hero's Feast, another great spell, and Globe of Invulnerability, one of the best in the game. Nice one to have. Now, I do want to note, anyone in the game can use a scroll of Globe of Invulnerability, so not a major deal there, but I think it's an awesome spell to have on here. You also can take Wall of Thorns. One thing I appreciate about this is it actually makes some of the lesser powerful spells feel more thematic and useful here. Because maybe you do want to go all in on piercing damage with your team. This totally possible with this setup. Another thing that's amazing is this class has full level 20 support. And they actually added this about a year ago. So the nice thing is all of them have their own capstones. I'll show you guys that for the Verdurge here. But level 13 Spell Cutter. I think this is a fun ability. You get advantage on saving throws triggered by creatures that you've attacked on your previous turn. Level 15 gives the Verdurge their Martyr of Sylvanas. This allows you to choose up to 3 targets, and each of them is going to get a +2 to their armor class. However, every target you select will reduce your armor class by 1. This is considered a cantrip and has a concentration on it. I think that's a really fun ability, and it's not anything overpowered, but makes it feel like kind of like a earthly protector. It's cool. And once you hit level 18, you get to choose a Vanguard talent, the Extra Attack War Magic, which gives you an extra attack. We love it. And the level 20 capstone makes us quite tanky. We get the Oaken Resilience here, which makes you resistant to all damage types, cannot be charmed or frightened, and anytime you're damaged by an enemy, you reflect 1 to 10 piercing damage to all offending entities. What's great about this is it actually pairs very well with the last ability, because if we drop our armor class lower and buff our teammates, it makes the enemy's AI attack us more likely, and then with this, we're taking half damage and reflecting damage. And if you got something like the Ballast Armor on, that's actually reflecting a decent bit of damage back onto the enemies. Really cool concept, and I think this makes the class feel very tanky in a certain sense, but not brokenly overpowered in any regard. That's one of the things with Satho's class mods, they're all very balanced. So yeah, the Arcane Vanguard is incredible. Again, such a huge update. Sathos deserves all those million downloads they have. Their mod page is filled with stuff here, great information. Thank you again for this shout out to my channel here too. I've been covering this mod since release, and again, it's my favorite class mod. They've done so much good work over the last year with this, and I just want to highlight this because I think this is truly special to see a modder put this many thousands of hours into a mod and removed all AI content. You gotta love it. So thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please hit the subscribe button. Go download the Arcane Vanguard right now. You'll enjoy it, and have yourself a great day. We'll see you in the next one.